So I've placed the order for a new modulating condensing boiler, but I'm really curious as to how this one's doing. You can see that there's plenty, and I just scraped all of the rust flakes back to here so I could actually look at them and take a good look. But there's plenty of rust flakes. Now, some of this may have been my fault from running the temperatures really low for probably over a year now. You know, more than one winter, I would say. But like, I don't know if you'd be able to see, like, there's a whole bunch of rust on the ground back there. And I don't know the condition of the boiler, but I'm also viewing a couple of things and noticing that my pressure here is significantly higher than I think it's supposed to be. But I also have a apparently 30 psi relief valve on there. You know, I didn't change anything or even have this place serviced in the last 3.5 years. But I'm trying to understand what's going on here. And the thermostat wire was not hooked up at all. So, and this was set to 180 psi. So what would happen is we would stop getting a call for heat on any of the 3 zones over there, and then we would have popping and banging up here in the old expansion tank. And you can see that this stuff is probably getting ready to fail here. So that's all gotta go. But it's a 2011 boiler here, so at least it had an inspection sticker, I believe, that was 2011. And you know, I can see some other stuff on here about, you know, this is probably from old, you know, previous boilers here, because I probably just left this card here. But it was an oil burner before, and I think the oil tank that was outside was removed in 2003. So this is probably the second natural gas one that's been used here. You can see this natural gas nipple was here, and then I guess they added this probably in 2011. And you know, no primary loop. Let's see what else is wrong here with this. So besides not having the thermostat wired up and having it continue to boil after everything stopped calling for heat, we had really no method of keeping the temperature above 130. So perhaps that was intentional, or maybe just laziness, where they decided to bypass the thermostat. But here we go. So there's a couple of setups for low temperature systems, but of course this is the one we have with no primary loop on the system. And it says, you know, return temps have to be over 130. And that's really difficult to do when, you know, these zones are out here, you know, getting quite cold most of the time. 130 will probably cook out the house. So for a low temperature system, you know, you would have this loop right here be kept above 130. That way these can be lower temperature as they go here, right? So the same thing here, it's another low temperature diagram option, and you have a primary loop where you can always get your feedback to keep a hot loop on the boiler. And you know, even here, if it had